Oh, no one else needs to know.
Yep. Okay, we'll call our meeting to order, and I want to begin the meeting with a little bit of sad news. We lost our ex-superintendent Larry Cole. He passed away day before yesterday after some lengthy medical issues. Larry was superintendent, two superintendents back, three superintendents back.
Well, and he was here twice.
Yeah, and he served us twice. And one of Larry's greatest accomplishments he had was our 91 bond issue that we had. And Larry came to the board with this harebrained idea that we would lay out the draw schedule for the contractors. Not only did they have to be lowest bidder, they had to accept the draw schedule payment. And it was a flat rate every month. Some months they might have been owed $400,000 and we were only paying $200,000. But Larry had figured out a way that he was able to do that, invest the money, that's back when interest was up, and we earned enough interest that we earned a couple of $1 million, which allowed us to build the Performing Arts Center. And that's the legacy amongst many that he left for the system. So he'll be sorely missed. Several of us had the pleasure of working with him and knowing him. If you didn't, I can just tell you that he was about as much a red bulldog as anybody could be, and he's going to be sorely missed. So keep the family in your thoughts, please. So, and with that, we'll go on to the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Skip. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to everyone watching on the live stream this evening. Happy July. Very short report tonight in your packet. Just provided you with a staffing update. We still have a few positions that we're still interviewing and trying to fill, but we feel pretty good about the direction heading into August. So I will certainly keep you updated on that. Also wanted to provide just a quick kindergarten update. Currently, we have 172 registrations for kindergarten, and we have 20 registrations for our BK program. Compared to last year, we had 147 kindergartners and 23 in BK. So that's a good sign with the enrollment. And obviously, it's early July, so we're still expecting maybe more registrations to come our way, so we'll keep you posted on that. And as a reminder, Mr. Brush is in the audience, and we had that fantastic commencement last year. About 190 seniors left the district, so about 190 leaving, about 172 coming in, approximately 192-ish. So we're trending flat with enrollment, which I think is a good thing. So I will keep you posted as enrollment changes throughout the summer, but I did want to share that news with everybody. Also in your packet, Lansing's going to be very quiet over the summer. They're on break. But you will find in the School Equity Caucus a series of bills that are waiting for Governor Whitmer's signature. And we're going to be getting many updates and guidance on those bills as it's expected she will sign them. But most of them are related to labor and para. And also the great news that I shared with you in an email about the foundation allowance going up 5%, $458 per pupil. That's fantastic. So we're looking at $9,608 per student as this foundation comes through this school year. And then also in the Equity Caucus, and I know Steve might bring up some more detailed information, but lots of categoricals as well. So feel free to read through that, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And with that, Skip, that's my report.
Okay,
I just
thanks.
had one quick question.
Yeah.
With the BK class, is that then just gonna be one class in one building? Or will that be spread out between the three, or how does that work?
Yep, we have 2 classrooms, one at Sunset, and then the Toby and Indian Lake areas share a classroom
Okay.
at Indian Lake.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, we'll go on to our budget and finance report. Steve?
Okay, a few things to touch base on real quickly this evening. Included in the board packet is the monthly budget progress report for the general fund. And this is for the full 12 months that just ended on June 30th. Big caveat here, there's a significant year-end closing process that we're working on as quickly as we can, but it takes time. So these figures, there is, we still have additional payables to book, and we have the summer payroll for all our 10-month employees where it's spread over the summer. So I'll cover things just real quickly, but keep in mind that the numbers are really not complete at this point. And this report is really prepared using more or less kind of a modified cash basis. It's reporting more or less as funds come in and go out. So that closing process will, we record accrued liabilities and that type of thing, so. But that being said, revenue on a year-to-date basis stands at $29,710,577. It's about 81.5% of the total. On the expenditure side, total instructional expenditures stood at $18,057,430. That's up both in terms of percentage and dollars compared to last year. But again, I mentioned the modified cash basis, and essentially there's one additional payroll that was paid on June 30th that last year was paid on, I think, July 1st or 2nd. So the numbers just include one additional payroll to this point compared to the same time last year. So that will just kind of reverse itself over the rest of the summer. All right, on continuing with expenditures, total support services stood at $11,703,062, and that's a little bit higher percentage of the total budget, but a lot of those support services include things that are paid earlier in the year, or there is payroll in the support functions, obviously, but it's a lower proportion of payroll. So, and many of the employees in the support services are really 12-month employees. So you just don't see, there's just a little bit of a mismatch in the timing between instructional and support services. All right, remaining expenditures there, you can see athletics at 767 or 94%, community services at 525,000, and then there is still a incoming transfer from the food service fund for recovery of indirect costs. That is one of the things that we calculate once all the other numbers are done, and so you'll see that reflected in the final numbers in the audit report, which will be presented probably in October. All right. So year to date, 31,053,403 for expenditures. Any questions on that page? All right, if not, then we'll go down to the next page. Oops, I've just lost my place here. Should not do that. So page 2 of that report includes expenditure information, just summarized a little bit differently by object code, and you can see that salaries and benefits year to date, 13.9 million for salaries year to date, benefits at 11.3 million, and you can see again that 88% of salaries year to date compared to 80, not quite 86%. That's a result of that timing issue where there's one additional payroll included on June 30th. All right. Breakdown for supplies, purchase services, capital outlay, and other are there. The only thing I'll point out is the other line item is currently just over the budget. But that, when that indirect cost recovery is recorded, that will offset that other line item. So that, should end up below budget. All right? Any questions on the budget progress report? Okay. If not, then the next item is quick update on the bond. I'm going to turn it over to Dewey in just a minute. But I want to point out a couple things. In the board action items, there is, we're requesting authorization to approve 2 bids. One is related to a project that was awarded previously, and through the process of preparing for the audit and looking through all the construction documents, discovered that that one contract had never gone to the board for approval. And so my apologies on that. That was, there were 2 significant bid openings, and one of the projects had some additional follow-up and due diligence that our architects and construction managers were working on. So that kind of was peeled off and handled separately. And so that fell between 2 big projects, and that one I just neglected unintentionally to bring that contract for approval. So it's, it's the low bid, it's, just should have had that approved previously, so my apologies on that. The other one is, there's a couple of bids related to removing the underground storage tank at the bus garage. And so the total cost of that is gonna be, we expect to be right around $80,000. There's a memo included in the board packet. And you'll note in the agenda that, we specify that that's gonna be paid out of the general fund. We've tried hard to reduce the amount of capital expenditures that fall on the general fund, but sometimes it's unavoidable. In this case, that's a project that just, it needs to happen. We're not aware of any problems with the tank itself or any contamination, but we know that that tank is nearing the end of its life, and there's also mechanical components within the tank. The fuel pumping system are kind of obsolete, and they still function, but they're not really supportable. So if those were to go down, we would have difficulty fueling the buses. So the project is to remove that tank, repave. We're gonna replace the underground tank with above ground tanks, which are easier, and there's less exposure from an environmental standpoint. It just makes sense.
I think they set one of those tanks today, in fact.
Could be.
Yeah, I saw them setting a tank.
Okay. Yeah, I don't, that's, I'm not sure, but that could be. So, yeah, that's something that we just need to get done. As part of that, there's quite a few pavement problems in the transportation garage that we want to address, including some of the grading that in the wintertime creates opportunities for water to pool and freeze and for people to slip and fall. And so, from taking care of our employees as well as taking care of not, trying to reduce the risk for workers' comp claims and that type of thing, it just is something that needs to happen. So those bids came in pretty much right where we had hoped. From the beginning, we were anticipating it was probably going to be 80 to 90,000. It looks like it came in right around there. So, all right. Any questions on that? All right. If not, then I'd like to turn it over to Dewey, if you're ready. And Dewey's going to give us a quick update on progress with the summer projects. And for those of you who haven't met Dewey, Dewey is our Director of Facilities. He replaced Nancy Spickets.
Well, hi board, first time I've been able to address you guys here. I'm Dewey. I'm your director of facilities. A little nervous. I usually don't do this well, but we'll get through this.
We don't bite, do we?
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe I'll settle down. Yeah, Steve asked that I put together a construction report. It's pretty brief. So what we've
It's a little
got.
bit longer than last month's budget presentation, right?
Yeah, there it is.
It'll be a lot more entertaining, I promise.
All right, all right. Well, and thank you. Are there any questions? So, okay, good. It was brief. What is happening this summer is we have 3 sequences that we're taking this bond, and we were splitting it up. Sequence 1 was last summer, the elementaries. Sequence 2 is happening this summer and next summer, which is the middle school and the high school. Yeah. This was incredible. Literally, I think June 9th, our last day of school, right? The kids had a half a day of school. Literally, the kids are getting on the bus, and 2 men in a truck are pulling in. And I'm not even exaggerating. It was just that fast. This literally was day 1, at the end of day 1. This is the cafeteria at the high school. We'll do the high school first. I'll get through this one, and we'll go to look at the middle school. So all these pictures are from the high school. Literally, this is the end of day 1. They filled up the cafeteria, and that's the library where we hold our board meetings. It's just jam-packed full. 2 men in a truck came in, and they grabbed boxes, and they threw barcodes on them, beeped them, so that when they come and put them back in the classrooms, it's just going to be, man, I don't know if it's going to be as fast as putting them in these rooms, but it's going to be very efficient.
I think
But yeah,
they counted 16 trucks.
and I think
It
each
looked like
truck.
2 men in a truck used car lot.
I know, and I think it was 4 men in a truck that day, because what was fun is to watch them in the corridors, and it looked just like ants. Either they had dollies, or they were carrying boxes, or they had these big, chair lifts that they were carrying stuff with. It was pretty amazing to watch these guys get that done. Day 4, the construction crews all came in. This is still some of the classroom contents. We had to put them in the hallways, but literally day 4, the ceilings are all down. Most of our work is mechanical and infrastructure for this portion. So all the ceilings had to have come down. That's a classroom, that's a hallway, and I don't know where that is. That's another hallway, but where we're not doing construction. So it gives the contractors enough room to get the improvements done. Again, it's very, very fast, very quick, which we only have summer to get a lot of this work done. Now we're at day 10, and everything's gutted. And I like this picture here because you see the green stripe on there. That's a laser line because they're already putting grid back in on day 10. They've already got up there, got their work done, and are putting in a new ceiling. And that's a level where they put the drop ceiling. That's where the line will go for them to, that way it stays level. But I thought that was pretty impressive that they're putting that back in. There's some more hallways. That's a classroom down at the end where that's what it looks like above the ceilings. I wish Don Puckett were here to see all his, the plumbing all looks good and smooth, but all the IT is just strung like spaghetti. I wish he was here to see that, darn it. Day 10, we're still in classrooms. This is some pretty good stuff. The contractors on day 1 put this down to protect all our floors because we're not putting in new floors at this time. But again, a typical classroom, just torn apart. And in no time, I'll show you, they're starting to put it back together. Here we're on the roof at the high school. We do have some roof work done. Literally, day 17, we're doing roof work. It's just unbelievably quick. I got up there after a rain because I wanted to see how well they were keeping it watertight after a rainstorm, and everything was looking perfect. We had no problems inside even after a rain, so that was very cool. I like this picture. These guys were just yapping away up above. All you saw was legs. I walked in, took this picture. They didn't even know I was there. These are electricians putting in our new lights. These are new LED lights. They're very cool. And you can see this room. This was the test room that they had done. So this is what it's going to look like. This room has already got all the grid in and are ready to put the pads in. And I think, if you can see the all the way around the edge, they've got the cut pieces already put in and are just waiting for the electrician to come in, hang his lights, and then they'll put pads in. And this is day 28. It's just amazing how fast these guys are working. Now at the middle school, same thing. This was day 1. This is the band room, just chock full. I know it looks boring, but it's amazing that the amount of effort's put to get that done. These are the 10 pallets of floor protectant that they used to ensure that nothing gets scratched up. This is literally, again, day 2. They're bringing in, that's a pile of exterior drywall, or we call it Dens glass, and this is the north side of the middle school, and they're going to literally take that wall out and put a new one in. You'll see I took a picture of that. That's our library at the middle school. Yeah, just gutted. And I'll show you a picture where one of the walls are torn out and you can just literally walk outside. It's kind of cool. More work. This is one of the classrooms that face north into the neighborhood, all gutted. We're still at day 2, just amazing. We even had, this is asbestos being abated. I think there was asbestos on the caulk around the glass, so that's why that's blocked off. There isn't any worry of it getting in the air or anything, so they didn't have to put the plastic and everything. It's already encapsulated in the caulk, but they just make sure that they keep it all in one place, and that's what they were doing there. I love this, day 3. Literally, day 2, there was another boiler just like this sitting here. There was 2 boilers there. They've actually taken the one out, actually cleaned up underneath it before removing this one. And I feel that they would have had this second one off, but there's no shutoff valve on the gas piping, so we kind of had to wait for consumers to come in and shut it off before the main before they could demo that one. But we do get 2. I think it gets replaced with 4 modular boilers, but we get rid of the old 1962 boiler. I think that was so. Yay on efficiency. Day 7, I love this picture because I look out my office window and I see a concrete truck leave on day 7 of construction. It's just amazing. What they did is they poured this footing right here for a new exterior wall already on day 7. It was amazing. So there's a footing in there. That's the wall that they're going to pop out. This is those north-facing classrooms. They're going to pop those out and put in a new wall right on that concrete footing. There's a picture of the north-facing classrooms. They just put that Dens glass. They just put that all up there, and then they'll cut out for the windows. New windows getting put in on the other side of the school. Kind of neat. More middle school pictures. We're up to day 17, hallways. This is where we had 2 classrooms that had a mobile partition that was never ever used, so the architect had decided to put in a regular rigid wall there. And that appears to be the electrician putting in electric in there. We had to cut the power to this school because we're upgrading it. And so literally we have one small generator running all these lights and all the power tool batteries and everything. And it's pretty amazing because most of the rooms for the first couple days it looked like miners there because all their hard hats, they all had their little lights on there because it was just that dark. There's our library at the middle school. Literally tore the walls right out. That's Chad, I think, Chad Kandow. He's our construction manager. He's doing a great job. I'm watching him bounce around here, and he's the guy who I would feel would be nervous if they weren't on task or if they weren't on schedule. And he's bouncing around like he's having a ball. So that's a good feeling. Pardon?
Is it the south wall of the library?
Yeah, yep, that's south facing.
Windows or just the?
Yeah, I think, well, they're going to replace them with a new wall, and they'll have windows in there too. This is where the the new transformer sits on. We're going from a single phase to a three-phase transformer because of all the load with the extra air conditioning. Where 2 5-inch conduits came up to feed the transformer, or rather the transformer feed the school, we have 9 now. So you can see that there's more load going into this building with this air conditioning. I was about 5 minutes late because the guys that were just finished digging this hit and broke the water line, filled that baby up in about 10 seconds. And I came back and I go, nah, I don't think I'll take a picture of this. But they got it all cleaned out, and literally within a couple hours, they're all back to work here. Actually flooded back into that boiler room that I showed earlier. But literally, that's the only thing I've seen that's gone wrong. And there must have been 12 guys down there fixing it and, patching up the hole. And that water was going to our maintenance building, so we were concerned. I took this picture because you can start seeing the gymnasium that sits up high. It used to be white, and now the new colors are coming in. That's a darker gray. And where the windows are, the ephes there, you can see where some of it's still white, and we're darkening it up to, it's like one shade lighter than the gymnasium. So, man, day 28, and we're painting. That's just amazing. That's it. That was pretty good. Yes.
Good.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Where does all the stuff go? Well, it's
What stuff is that?
all the stuff that you hauled out of everywhere. Where does that go until it comes back?
Well, right now, because the project is so big and there's only so much finite time to do it in the summer, they split the school up. So half the school isn't getting worked on, so they took all the classroom contents and moved it over, like I had showed, the band room, the choir room. That will get done next summer. So all the contents got just shifted over to the other side of the school.
But they didn't fill their trucks, they just came and moved stuff, or?
Literally, yeah. Nothing got moved off campus, I don't
They
think.
had all that equipment in the trucks that they used to move.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I thought, where did it go?
Well, but they do a really, really good job, and I think Dewey spoke to this, of, recording everything, taking pictures of the classrooms, trying to get things back more or less to the shape they were in when they came in. And so if you go into one of the storage areas, it's unbelievable. It's just,
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
but what they do all that moving for us, they are incredibly efficient, and then they come back and they move everything back, and we're really fortunate to have that relationship because they do great work for the school system.
In the old days, we literally took every custodian we had around, every maintenance person and everything else, and it would take us 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to get all that stuff moved around, plus all the payroll we had.
Yeah, and
This is,
and we just don't have that time,
Well, as I had my patient share with me, in 1950s, they had the students move all the contents from the VAB over to the new high school in 1951.
those days are gone now.
But
Yeah.
can you remind us, when we're done with this, what do we have that we didn't have before? What did we gain?
A lot of new infrastructure. You saw a lot of new LED lighting going in, so that's going to help our
Better lighting and more efficient.
electrical consumption, yes. We're getting now classroom air conditioning. Well, I say classroom, the entire school is getting air conditioning, so that's a big deal. That's why the single-phase feed went to a three-phase to get enough power into the school. High school already has three-phase, so we didn't have to make the upgrades that we did at the middle school. But they're going to get a lot more efficiency out of the heaters. They're going to be vertical ones that sit in the corner, kind of like what we've seen at the elementaries. It looks like a large refrigerator just sitting there quietly in the corner, tempering the air for the classrooms. And again, this has the ability to air condition, cool, and also heat.
And move more volume, I would assume, too.
I'm not sure what the old volumes are. I would assume yes. It will definitely have the ability to pull in more fresh air,
Right.
which is good. Yep.
The last 3 years would bear evidence to that, yes.
Yes.
Fresh air is good.
Yes, for sure. Yep. And these, we also monitor the CO2 levels in the rooms, and it's all done with a building management system. If we have a stuffy room like this and the CO2 levels start to rise, that thermostat or a sensor on the wall will sense that, and then it will open up and even bring in more fresh air to bring down the CO2 levels in here. Wow. And all the classrooms have that, and it's great, yeah, because at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after you've ate a big lunch and you're all kind of falling asleep, the last thing you want to do is have, higher CO2 levels. This will never happen. As a matter of fact, we can even dictate where we want the CO2 levels to be. So, and we keep them well below what the ASHRAE standards require. So,
Then we've been able to install that reverse ionization system that we put in on the old system onto the new system. So
yeah,
when we were one of the first schools in the state of Michigan that put in air filtration, now we're moving it into the new system.
in the electronic phases, yeah, yep.
And, that's huge. And then the modular boilers, those have got to be a huge savings in utility costs.
Yes, for
Just
sure, the
because of
high
the
efficiency.
efficiency,
Yeah, that old tank, or buses I call them, because they look like a school bus, those old boilers are probably, if they're running great, 70%, if they're tuned like they should be. But now these guys will run about 96%, these new high efficiency ones. So we'll definitely get as much out of the gas as we can, for sure.
So come this fall, both the middle school and the high school in its entirety will be air conditioned?
Well, there's a couple little
Okay.
roadblocks to that right now. Supply chain issues. There's that phrase that we all hate to hear, but a lot of the air conditioning units coming from a single vendor, they won't be here in time. Plus, we're only doing half the school this summer, and then in the end of next year, they had better be all up and running by then. But yeah, we've had some issues with the air handling units are showing up, the condensing units are showing up, but the air handlers aren't. So Frederick's Construction is saying, whatever we have here, you get up and you get everything as far as you can with the equipment you have. So yes, in another year and a half. But we're all waiting for equipment, for sure. Yeah.
I just want to make a comment. Dewey's relatively new with us, and I've had occasion to work with him on a few things, and you've been a great addition, and you're right on top of this stuff, and we really appreciate that. And you're knowledgeable in these areas. And the other thing I just want to say again is accolades to Frederick's Construction. We're lucky we have Frederick's Construction here in Vicksburg. They're part of the Vicksburg community, and I just think they go above and beyond and out of their way to manage the project and keep us in good communication and everything else. So,
No, and I'll attest to that. They have 2 project managers, Fredericks does. They have a project manager for each of the schools, and then Chad, I see him here daily. Almost every time I go out, I throw on a hard hat and I walk the job site, and I run into him, 7 out of 10 times walking around. So he's here, and this is his baby for sure, and he wants it to go as smooth as possible. And like I say, right now he's doing a lot of smiling, so when I see that, that's a good sign for me.
And you can smile.
Yeah, if I saw him,
We're all happy.
Yes.
But by this
Exactly.
time last year, he was hitting the alarm bell, saying, we've got some problems getting done at one of the buildings. And, they did such a incredible job managing that, and some tough conversations, and we got it done. So they got it in large part, they got it done. So they do great work for the district.
They do.
Yep.
Great. Lastly, if any of you guys want to take a tour, I'd be more than happy to walk you through whenever you want. I'll grab you guys some hard hats. If you guys wanted to walk, like I said, I can take you through. I can wait after work. If you guys want to go do that after work, I can walk you through, and you can look at the progress that's going on. It's kind of amazing that we're already, like I said, there's a couple rooms there that already have ceiling pads up, already have the lights on, and it's going fast, which is good. All right, well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Dewey. Steve, do you want to hit, were you going to hit investment income?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Just real quickly, yeah, I skipped over that. Included in the packet is a summary of the investments as of June 30th. We have a draw schedule, and so the investments are timed to mature to coincide with our expected cash needs for the projects. Continue to see very favorable interest rates, which is great. We are now, with just our daily liquidity, cash management funds are over 5%. And I know last month the Fed took a pause, there was no increase, but I think the messaging has been pretty clear since then that there are gonna be some additional rate increases. So, you know, that's good from our standpoint, investing. When by next spring, when we're talking about issuing the third series bonds, you know, we'll just have to see what that looks like. And, you know, on the flip side, the good news is our taxable values have also been rising rapidly. So that should help, you know, with increased interest rates and that kind of thing. So.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Any other questions for Steve? Okay, we've got a couple people that wish to address the board. First is Dan Gettle.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dan Gettle, and I have 4 kids who came up through and graduated from Vicksburg, and I'm very grateful for the caliber of teachers and staff we have here in Vicksburg. But an education is so much more than that. The mark of a truly great education is when students learn more than just what they're being taught. Here in Vicksburg, we excel at that. And the reason we excel at that is because it takes a team to educate our children, and we provide that. In addition to our great school system, children need loving and supportive family. They need extracurricular activities to find their passion: church, sports, 4-H, robotics, and my favorite, Scouts. When you add a supportive community to the team, we end up with kids that not only have an idea of what they want to be, but more importantly, they have an idea of who they want to be. With this team, family, school, extracurricular activities, and community all working together, we give our kids the best possible opportunity for success. But I would like to focus on my favorite extracurricular activity, scouting. I've coached 3 different basketball teams. I've helped with a rocket football team. I've helped with lacrosse for 12 years. But my favorite team to be a part of is Scouts. I've been a part of Vicksburg Scouts for over 20 years, and I can tell you it's an amazing organization. The scouting program revolves around outdoor activities, mainly camping, and this is where the magic really happens. You have a diverse group of scouts with varied interests and talents, and they have to form a small community for the weekend. A duty roster is made for the campout, and scouts have to team up to cook the meals, wash the dishes, build the campfire. You might have a star athlete with another scout that's heavily into computers, or a straight A student teamed up with another scout that struggles academically. Ultimately, they find common ground. The scouts are faced with so many challenges. For some, this is a humbling experience, and that's not a bad thing. It teaches them the value of a team, achieving more together. For other scouts, it can give them a foundation. They had no idea they were so good at canoeing, mapping, trails, archery, or fishing. The successes are new to them, and it gives them momentum. It may be for the first time ever that they've been a valuable part of a team. The real magic is the unlikely friendships that happen in scouting. High school is cliquey by nature. In Scouts, the environment is so very different than anything that they've ever been exposed to. It changes your perception of the person that you thought you knew. This is so important for our schools and for our community. So unfortunately, our Scout Pack, which is kindergarten through 1st grade, will not be able to continue with the low number of Scouts we have. We've been sending out flyers, we've been going to open houses, but we just are not getting the number of new Scouts that we need. This happened before in 2005. We were down to 12 Cub Scouts. At the time, they allowed us to go into the elementary schools to recruit once a year during the school year, either 15 minutes at the end of every day, at the end of a day, or Sunset Lake Elementary gave us 10 minutes inside each classroom. The end result of this was that the pack grew to 120 scouts, and I know we can have that happen again. So I'm here today to ask you to help us continue to be an important member of that team that educates our children. So if you can give us a chance in the elementary schools, we'd be forever grateful. I think the strong scouting system really strengthens the schools and the community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
I've known Dan a long time, and I can tell you, he is a dedicated scoutmaster and has done a lot of great things for kids, so thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, is it Jessica Cox?
Yes.
Okay, you wish to address the board?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I got on the wrong line. Cassie Byers, sorry about that.
I have 5 kids. So I had 5 kids in the school district. I have 4 now, high school, middle school, and 2 in elementary. Recently, I came across some information that was a little discerning, and I wanted to bring it up to you guys. So I found out behind other parents' knowledge, for over a year minimum, there was a boy saying he was a girl going in the girls' bathroom. And that's really concerning to me and many, many other parents. First of all, that no one was told. Second of all, that it was happening in school. Our girls and boys alike, genetic, DNA, boys and girls, need their own privacy and their own safe place to go, whether they have to go to the bathroom or they're crying over a breakup or they're upset. They need their own spaces and deserve their own spaces. Now, when I brought this up about if my daughter were to go into a bathroom and somebody of the opposite sex was in there and it made her uncomfortable, what should she do? I was told that it's no problem. She could go to a different bathroom or a teacher's bathroom. They provide that. That's not a problem. That's my next problem. She should not have to move out of her biological bathroom in order for a student who feels like they're a girl to go in there, and they can still go in there. That's just not okay. And anybody who has kids should understand that. And that's not bullying anybody who thinks they're trans. That's not being rude or mean to anybody who thinks they're trans. It's just not okay. Like I said before, they need their safe spaces and their privacy. And I don't know if there can be unisex bathrooms made or whatever situation you need to do, but in a school, at least K through 12, it should not be allowed. There's many reasons. If it is allowed, that opens doors for band camp, for instance. There's boy bunkers and girl bunkers. If I feel like I'm a boy and identify as a boy, does that mean I can go in the boys' bunker? And that's what will happen eventually. It'll keep opening doors to things like that. There has been numerous incidences where in colleges, girls are getting assaulted and getting hurt by people who just say they are trans of the opposite, and they go in and girls have gotten hurt that way. That's happened in prisons, and men will do it on purpose to be put into a women's prison, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's some prisoners that are pregnant. How did that happen? This isn't stuff I'm making up or I think. These are true facts that are happening. And by opening the door and saying, well, if you feel this way, you can use this bathroom, or whatever is going on with that, that just opens doors for worse things. Feelings are important, but it's not enough. I can't say I feel like I'm a board member and sit there and count as a board member. You guys would be like, get out of here, what are you doing? It's just not how it works. We just need our girls to be safe and our boys to be safe. And it's gonna continue, like I said, it'll go into locker rooms if it hasn't already. And that's the last thing our kids need. I've been told also plenty of times that school, which we all know is about learning and about preparing yourself for when you're an adult and being a good adult for society and being inclusive in that way does nothing to help you go to college or to get a good job. That should stay out of classes. The kids did that in 5th grade. They had their sex ed classes. They learned what parts are what happens when you hit puberty. It should end there. I'm just going to end with something that I read that I'm going to read off because it makes sense. It says, we recognize as a society that you do not affirm that people with anorexia can be healthy in any way. We do not affirm that somebody with schizophrenia is hearing voices, and do not affirm that somebody with manic episodes is having great ideas. Because when you leave somebody to languish in their false mental state, i.e. a man who thinks they're a woman, they will inevitably lash out and harm others and those around them. Because hurt people hurt people. And that is the truth.
I have a question. What building was that in?
High school.
In the high school? Okay. thank
As far as
you.
I know, it could be middle school too, if I just don't know about that. So, high school's for sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your comments. We'll go on to board action required. Approval of following board meeting minutes. The first meeting dated June 12th, 2023, regular meeting minutes. We'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Jennifer, or Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Don't make me, Jennifer's gone.
Supported.
Supported by Dan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Special meeting minutes dated June 14th, 2023.
So moved.
Moved by
Support.
Carol, supported by Tina. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of general fund invoices totaling $673,872.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Dan. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. By the way, we didn't welcome Ron to our board at the beginning of the meeting, so welcome.
I did.
Well, I think we all did individually, but we kind of started on a somber note with Larry's passing, so. Approval of purchase card disbursements for May 2023 totaling $102,651.60.
So moved.
Moved by Carol,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan? Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval to award bid package 8.5 of Series 2, Release 2A to Architectural Glass and Metals based on the results of the bids received October 11th, 2022, and the results of post-bid analysis and interviews at a total cost of $414,050. Project to be funded using proceeds from the 2022 Series 2 Building and Site Bonds.
So moved.
Moved by Tina?
Steve, is this the one that we missed before?
Yeah, that's, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll support.
Okay, supported by Dave. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, approval to award the following construction contracts based on bids received June 29th, 2023. Project cost to be paid by the district's general fund. Bid package 31.2, excavation and tank removal, United Petroleum Equipment Incorporated, total cost of $19,809. Bid package 32.2, asphalt repairs and paving, XL paving, plus a total cost of $48,650.
So moved.
Moved by Carol.
Supported.
Supported by Dan. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, approval of resignation of middle school teacher Gail Moyes, effective June 11th, 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion?
I just want to say she was one of my kids' favorite teachers, and this is a great loss to us, so.
It is.
Yes.
She got an offer she couldn't turn down.
Yep.
She's been with us for quite a while, so.
Yes.
yeah.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
What would happen if we don't?
Yeah, can I
accept-
say no? I think she'd wave at us through the rearview mirror.
Yeah, we've tried that on some retirements too.
Yeah,
It doesn't
no,
work
it
either.
Yeah, we tried, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Item G, approval to authorize and direct board secretary to post the regular meeting schedule of the Board of Education at the Administration Building and complete affidavit of posting.
Move approval.
Moved by Dave,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, approval to accept student enrollments through Section 105, Public Act 94 for the first semester of the 23-24 school year.
Move approval.
Moved by Dave,
Supported.
supported by Dan. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of following teacher contracts upon results of state and federal records and unprofessional conduct checks, and will take teachers 1 through 5 with the board's permission.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J, designate depository of funds to employee bank of choice.
Well, so moved.
Moved by Tina,
Supported.
okay. Supported by Ron. Discussion?
I guess there's no list.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The reason there's no list, those are the teachers that want to have their payroll checks deposited in their individual banks. So they're not our banks, they're employees' bank of choice. So it could be a credit union, it could be anywhere. That's why there's not a list there on that. A, designate investment depositories, and we'll take institutions 1 through 9 with the board's permission.
Is this any change, Steve, from what we've always done?
No.
No.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item L, designate authorized signatures for the checking and savings. And we'll take general fund treasury, general fund, item 1, 2 payroll, 3 school service and trust, 4 high school athletic, 5 middle school, 6 basic flex spending, 7 designate authorized signatures, entry safe deposit box, and 8 together with the board's permission.
So moved.
Moved by Stephanie,
Support.
supported by Tina. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the following retainer services providers for 23-24 school year. Auditors, Plant Moran, Legal Troon Law Firm.
So moved.
Moved by Carol,
Support.
supported by Stephanie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item N, first reading of approval of Vicksburg Community Schools Policy 2623 and 8400.
So moved.
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Item O, second reading approval of Vicksburg Community Schools Policy 6325 and 9160.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Carol, was it?
Yeah, I'm awake,
And
yes.
supported by Tina. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol? And yes, motion carries. And on that, we'll stand adjourned.